else, and you have to like try to get them to believe what you want them to learn and what other people teach them.
It's somewhat of a challenge, yes.
Okay.
That's a good one. Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next. You're not going to turn it off, or you're just going to go to the next, right?
Okay,
So we can put it all together.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so here we go.
All right.
And so do you have children?
We have 3.
3. Okay. What age do you think is appropriate for your children to talk to your children? I'm getting confused. For you to talk to your children regarding sex.
When our children were little, you could wait a little longer. Now, with our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you have to start about, I think, maybe 6 years old.
So you're saying that the generations now, it's like the topic about sex is more open now? They're learning.
Or more needed? You think more needed because of
the exposure of television, movies, and all this.
Okay.
So did you talk to your children about sex?
When our kids were growing up, they teased me about taking them out behind the wood pile. That's what I did. But they were like, say, 10 to 12 years old.
Okay, were you
They
comfortable?
were at that. Pardon me?
Were you comfortable? I'm sorry.
Were you comfortable with
talking to them?
He did the boys that way.
We did. Yeah, I did the boys that way. Was I comfortable? In a way, yes, but in a way, no. It's a different type conversation than you normally have with your children. But we have 3 children. We have 8 grandchildren and 4 great-grandsons.
Oh, wow.
So they've all know what it's all about.
So do you have women? Like, do you have girl children?
We have 2 girls and 1 son.
And you felt more comfortable talking to the girls more than the boys, and you feel more comfortable talking to the boys than the girls,
Yes.
right?
That's how we did it.
Okay. Other question.
Okay, so do you think it would be best for your children to learn sex from you, which obviously you already told us probably that it's from you, school, TV, society, and why?
Well, I think starts at home first, and kind of give a good
Background.
on that, and then of course they have some in school, which sometimes not the way we thought it should be.
And like I asked them, would you say it's like a challenge, like to from your children to learn like about sex from school and TV and like from people, their friends? Would you say it's challenging to your beliefs, like what you believe, like what you want to teach them?
It is a challenge.
Yes, it really is. Yeah. So you have to constantly remind them
What's right, what's wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm curious, since you said you constantly remind them, how do you remind them? Like, what kind of things do you do for your children for them to know that this is what's right for us, our values, our home?
Talk.
Just talk. Wow.
Yep.
See, I grew up nothing like that, so that's very interesting to me because we were very more of a close-knit, don't talk about, sexuality and stuff like that in our home with our values.
That's how I was when I was growing up.
And then it changes, like you said, with time, generationally. My mom got older, and she's like, now she tells me, can you talk to your children about this and that and about their private areas and how people shouldn't be, touching them there or things like that, which before it's something that at my age I would have never known to be like, hey, don't touch me there. You already know, in you that it's wrong, but you don't know what to say, hey, or something like that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And here we go. Okay, so do you have children?
Yes, we do.
Okay, what age do you think is appropriate for you to talk to your children regarding sex?
Okay, the questions that you have in the context that you're presenting them are turned around. I just want to comment on that.
Okay.
Because you don't have to talk to people about sex. Animals have sex. People have sex. You don't have to talk to them about anything because they just go do it. So if you want to talk about sex in the context of I just want what I want to fulfill my body and do what comes natural through me, through nature, you don't have to tell me anything. I'll figure it out. Right. I may do some things that are more pleasurable than others, but I'm fulfilling myself. So when you talk about sex, to talk about sex in the context under which it is established, you have to talk about in the confines of a relationship. So what you do in a family is talk about relationships. You don't start talking about sex when they're 2 and 3 and 4. You're teaching them about relationships.
Through your own actions, maybe? Or?
Through own actions, through our conversations, through corrections of the kids, through input from others, and you don't let them around people who have the input that do things that are unnatural to a relationship. So then, when you have established that at 2, 3, 4, and 5, when they're 8, 10, 12, and now they're developing sexually, in their hormones, now the conversation naturally progresses to what does this mean that you feel that way? But it's always in the context of a relationship, because who do you have to teach about sex? As you take your own character and say, what do I have to be taught about sex? I can go have sex without even someone telling me anything, because you just follow your natural tendency. But does that form a relationship? No. So you ask about sex in terms of, is that sex meant to have a personal fulfillment, or is it a fulfillment within a relationship? And each person has to answer that, and each person has to be accountable for that. I would look at you girls and I could make some comments about how beautiful you are, how attractive you are, how sexually attractive you could be to others. And if you want to enter into a relationship like that, let me ask you how you can then end up where you respect your husband and the husband loves his wife. And that's the premise for a solid relationship, which begins at marriage and ends at death. So it's respect for the husband, acting the way he should act, not just saying, hey babe, and making it something you have to count numbers while it's going on. It's a pleasurable thing. And the wife loves the husband because of the way he elevates her. So either sex is elevating people or it's just using people. So we very, very much have understood on our relationship, it is sex is part of the relationship in value in the individual, and we have taught our kids that. When you start with the relationship, it's not difficult to talk about anything that goes on between two people. But if you want to start with sex, how do you take sex and go to relationship?
Right, that's where it's uncomfortable, because you just make it about the actual
the physical act.
The physical act.
Not what goes on emotionally between the two people.
Right. I don't mean to go off on anything there, but I would like.
No, that's excellent. I think you might be a psychology teacher.
No.
Naturally.
You just proved our point, I guess.
I don't know what your point is, but don't ever start either personally or in a discussion with sex and what you can do, because I don't care what it is between she and I. There are no bounds between she. If it's pleasurable to both of us, we don't set the bounds. But you have to know what the other one wants. But if it's just about me, then I may abuse her body or abuse her mentally and physically. And you don't want that. You want to build and build and build. So the relationship goes, and sex is a part of it, just as much as many, many other things that you include. Go ahead.
So would you say that your children basically started learning from birth around both of you and your interactions then? About our sexuality, human sexuality, and human relationships, how you're putting in everything?
I think that's very true, because we have a boy and a girl. So when they become the least aware of their bodies, you don't run through the house naked. Kids do that, and it's kind of fun and enjoyable. But then you start teaching them, no, that's
respect for your own body.
Right, that is your body. You start protecting it yourself. And as we know now, if you want to talk about the way society has gone, the bounds are just about down, and so a lot of things go on which need to be stopped at some point. But we started very early.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, go ahead. With
Do you have anything you'd like to add to what he's saying?
No, not really. We stood back here and kind of discussed the whole thing.
You guys had the most time.
Yeah, but
you guys did good. It's good.
We have been in total agreement most of the time when it concerns those type of situations, and we talked to both the girls